Khaled, DJ,
His career shot up like fireworks on a summer night. Wealth, fame, flashy mansions, and a fleet of luxury cars made him look untouchable. For a whole generation, DJ Khaled wasn't just a producer, he was an icon. At his peak, it seemed like failure wasn't even in his vocabulary, but that same belief in his own invincibility made him too comfortable, too careless. On the surface, the lights were still blinding and the energy was still loud, but behind the curtains, the cracks were spreading. Whispers of conflict with close collaborators, the very people who helped fuel his golden run, started to leak out. Friends turned into critics, and the big question echoed louder. Was Khaled really listening to anyone anymore?
Everybody help me.
Get on the side.
Thank you, brothers. I appreciate it.
You want to get in the back?
Can't mess up the chase. I'm performing live right now. Right here on Miami Beach, South Beach.
Or was he drowning in his own ego? As that tension simmered in private, the music itself began sounding recycled, predictable, almost like Khaled was running on autopilot. He still thought his fame was a shield that could block out any storm, but history shows that the strongest empires usually crumble from the inside. For Khaled, the first blow wasn't loud, but deadly quiet. The silence cut deep and changed how people saw him.
It's true. I make albums so people can play it and you actually hear it. You know, driving your car, you hear another car playing it. You know, go to the barbershop, you hear them playing it. You know, turn the radio on and you hear them playing it.
That silence turned into a spotlight moment on October 7th, 2023. As the world's focus shifted to Gaza, heartbreaking images of loss and humanitarian crisis flooded every news outlet. Artists across the globe stepped up. Bella Hadid, The Weeknd, Gigi Hadid, and more, using their platforms to speak out and demand compassion. Social media was buzzing, and the pressure was insane. Fans and critics alike waited to see which stars would raise their voices. But DJ Khaled, he stayed silent, dead silent. For someone known for being loud,
you know, it's playing everywhere. It's called great music. It's called albums that you actually hear the songs. Not no mysterious shit and you never hear it. On your dome.
Joyful and larger than life, that silence was deafening. Fans felt betrayed, seeing it as a missed moment to show he stood with his roots and community. Even his own family wasn't having it. A cousin went public with frustration, saying Khaled's quietness wasn't just disappointing, it clashed with the very image he had built for years. This wasn't just a little slip-up.
Haha, that damn mysterious music won again.
It was the first major crack in his once untouchable reputation. That silence flipped Khaled from inspirational to questionable.
Music's supposed to make people dance at the barbershop, make car windows shake, blast on global radio, not some mysterious, weird stuff nobody gets.
Sparking doubts that hadn't been there before. But the true explosion, the one that sent Khaled's image crashing within the hip-hop world, didn't come from politics. It came straight from the music charts. Backstage reports confirmed by Variety and Complex revealed that Khaled's beef with Tyler, the creator, wasn't just about who ranked higher. It got personal, ugly, and heated behind the scenes. Witnesses claimed Khaled used wild language, openly showing his bitterness toward his younger rival. That clash exposed a whole different side of him, one that fans weren't ready to see.
Honestly, I found it pretty amusing. You know, seeing a grown man, a legend, lose it because a weirdo like me won, it's actually hilarious.
If that silence planted seeds of doubt, this clash ripped the mask clean off. The We the Best smiles couldn't hide it anymore. DJ Khaled's hunger for dominance and his swollen ego were on full display. To understand how massive this blow-up really was, we gotta rewind to 2019, the golden era of Khaled's chart reign. Back then, he wasn't just winning, he was a machine. Every album was loaded with A-list megastars. Every drop was guaranteed radio rotation.
I don't make music for the barbershop. I make music for people who dare to listen to something different.
And every chart felt like his personal playground. For Khaled, #1 wasn't a dream, it was a birthright. But on the other side stood Tyler, the creator, A wild card in hip-hop, a creative outlaw who didn't play by the industry's rules. Tyler had carved a lane of his own, critically praised, celebrated by tastemakers and respected for pushing boundaries. But there was still one milestone missing.
I'm not mad at Tyler. I'm mad at Billboard. What kind of point system lets an album like that beat my all-star lineup?
A Billboard #1. One album. To many, Tyler was the underground genius, not the mainstream king. And that's what made this showdown so insane. It was the unstoppable hitmaker versus the visionary rebel, and nobody could have predicted how explosive this battle would get. May 17th, 2019, Judgment Day, 2 albums, 2 worlds colliding.
No bad blood. I respect Khaled because he came up from nothing, just like me.
On one side, DJ Khaled dropped Father of Assad, a supersized blockbuster engineered to crush competition. The features list was ridiculous. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Cardi B, Travis Scott, Post Malone, the Avengers of music assembled on one album. It was less of a record and more like an unstoppable industry machine built to guarantee chart supremacy. But in the other corner stood Tyler with Igor. No shiny guest list, no lineup of megastars, just Tyler himself. He wrote it, produced it, performed it, and turned it into a raw, emotional, strange, and fearless body of work. Igor wasn't designed for radio. It was designed as art. And that contrast made the showdown even crazier. Formula versus soul, machine versus mind. For a full week, the entire hip-hop world held its breath. Fans, critics, and artists all tuned in to see who would walk away with the crown. It was a cultural standoff. 2 different visions of success locked in battle. And when the dust finally cleared, the result sent shockwaves across the industry. Against all predictions, against all the superstar firepower, the unthinkable happened. Tyler, the creator, pulled off the upset. Igor snatched the number 1 spot, leaving DJ Khaled's star-studded empire stuck in 2nd place. When Billboard broke the news, the industry gasped like it had just witnessed an earthquake. Tyler, the creator, with his weird, bold, unfiltered artistry, had knocked Khaled's Father of Assad right off the throne, and nobody saw it coming. What should have been another easy victory for Khaled turned into humiliation overnight, and the meltdown that followed was legendary. Inside the label, he exploded with a rage so loud people swore it shook the building. Witnesses described him slamming the table, yelling until his voice went hoarse, as if Billboard had robbed him of a crown that belonged only to him. His team tried to calm him, but the man who once screamed, "We the best," like a golden ticket wasn't listening to anyone. But Khaled didn't stop there. He took the fury to Instagram. In one now infamous video, he stood in front of giant speakers and a flashy convertible, dripping in luxury, while ranting about how his music was for the people and played everywhere. He never mentioned Tyler by name, but everyone knew who he was aiming at. Khaled tried to paint Igor as some strange art piece that wasn't real hits, but fans saw straight through the shade. It reeked of bitterness, and instead of sympathy, the internet dragged him even harder. Meanwhile, Tyler's response? Ice cold and surgical. He didn't waste time trading insults. He let the win speak for itself. Tyler flooded his socials with chart screenshots, critic reviews, and playful captions. One post was just the Igor album cover with the words, "Thanks for listening to this mysterious music." Every sarcastic thank you was a dagger to Khaled's ego, cutting deeper than any diss track ever could. And Tyler wasn't done. 2 years later, in 2021, when his album Call Me If You Get Lost debuted at #1, he twisted the knife one more time. In his victory post, he looked into the camera, laughed, and dropped a line dripping with payback. "Thanks, y'all, this one feels good." That laugh was louder than any speech, a reminder that Khaled's meltdown had gone down in hip-hop history as one of the pettiest reactions ever caught on record. Igor snatched the number 1 spot, leaving DJ Khaled's star-studded empire stuck in 2nd place. When Billboard broke the news, the industry gasped like it had just witnessed an earthquake. Tyler, the creator, with his weird, bold, unfiltered artistry, had knocked Khaled's Father of Assad right off the throne, and nobody saw it coming. What should have been another easy victory for Khaled turned into humiliation overnight, and the meltdown that followed was legendary. Inside the label, he exploded with a rage so loud, people swore it shook the building. Witnesses described him slamming the table, yelling until his voice went hoarse, as if Billboard had robbed him of a crown that belonged only to him. His team tried to calm him, but the man who once screamed, "We the best," like a golden ticket wasn't listening to anyone. But Khaled didn't stop there. He took the fury to Instagram. In one, now infamous video, he stood in front of giant speakers and a flashy convertible, dripping in luxury, while ranting about how his music was for the people and played everywhere. He never mentioned Tyler by name, but everyone knew who he was aiming at. Khaled tried to paint Igor as some strange art piece that wasn't real hits, but fans saw straight through the shade. It reeked of bitterness, and instead of sympathy, the internet dragged him even harder. Meanwhile, Tyler's response, ice cold and surgical. He didn't waste time trading insults. He let the win speak for itself. Tyler flooded his socials with chart screenshots, critic reviews, and playful captions. One post was just the Igor album cover with the words, "Thanks for listening to this mysterious music." Every sarcastic thank you was a dagger to Khaled's ego, cutting deeper than any diss track ever could. And Tyler wasn't done. 2 years later, in 2021, when his album Call Me If You Get Lost debuted at #1, he twisted the knife one more time. In his victory post, he looked into the camera, laughed, and dropped a line dripping with payback. "Thanks, y'all. This one feels good." That laugh was louder than any speech, a reminder that Khaled's meltdown had gone down in hip-hop history as one of the pettiest reactions ever caught on record. Tyler's words shocked everyone, not because they were harsh, but because they were calm, mature, and graceful. By refusing to drag Khaled's name through the mud, Tyler elevated himself above the feud, looking like the bigger artist. Meanwhile, Khaled tried to flip the narrative on Instagram, posting with the hashtag #WeTheBest, as if to close the chapter with positivity. But for fans, no slick caption could erase the sting of 2019. That loss still hung over his head like a shadow. On X, the jokes wouldn't stop. Users kept resurfacing Khaled's salty comments, remixing them into memes, GIFs, and endless roast threads. The Rock Nation photo may have looked like peace, but in the court of public opinion, Khaled's meltdown was permanent. His image had slipped from the joyful uncle with endless energy to the bitter star who couldn't handle defeat. And Tyler, he was crowned the face of a new creative wave. That infamous Billboard loss wasn't just a stumble, it marked the start of Khaled's public unraveling. Suddenly, everything he did was under a microscope. Every flex, every word, every appearance, fans dissected it like investigators hunting for cracks in his carefully built empire. And oh, did they find them. One of the most embarrassing moments came on The Breakfast Club. Khaled, chest puffed and confidence sky high, declared, "I'm not just a producer, I'm a lifestyle." Instead of boosting his legacy, the statement backfired. The room chuckled, and online, people dragged him mercilessly. Memes spread showing Khaled's face next to luxury brands with sarcastic captions like, "This is what happens when lifestyle becomes delusion." From there, his usual flexing, diamond-dripped watches, fleets of exotic cars, sprawling mansions, no longer felt inspiring. Before, fans saw him as that fun uncle celebrating life. Now it looked like empty bragging. The same "we the best" that once hyped people up turned into a punchline. Instagram and X lit up with viral edits, like Khaled posing in front of a Rolls-Royce captioned, "When you lose Billboard but still yell, another one." The internet turned his signature catchphrases into weapons against him. But the true backlash peaked when Khaled went live and dropped one of his wildest claims ever. "I was there when Lil Wayne met Birdman. I'm the one who connected them." That over-the-top brag sent fans spiraling into laughter and disbelief. Instead of respecting him as a connector, people accused him of rewriting history just to stay relevant. The more he exaggerated, the more he looked like a star clinging to fading glory. From being the ultimate hype man of success, Khaled had transformed into a caricature of his own brand. His obsession with showing off luxury and inflating his role in hip-hop history made him look out of touch, self-centered, and desperate to hold on to the spotlight. And the scariest part? This wasn't just about flashy watches or loud cars anymore. The cracks were starting to show in his music too. The downfall wasn't just about Instagram rants or shady interviews, it was about the music itself. Fans began tuning out, not because of gossip, but because Khaled's sound no longer hit like it used to. The magic formula that once guaranteed hits, stacking A-listers on a beat and yelling his slogans, was suddenly labeled lazy. On X, the criticism was savage. Khaled just stacks superstars like Lego bricks and leaves no fingerprints of his own. That one comment alone went viral, and it summed up exactly how people felt. The comparisons to his peers only made the gap worse. Tyler, the creator, was weaving raw, personal stories through Igor. Travis Scott was building psychedelic universes with Astro World. Kendrick Lamar was cutting through society with rhymes sharp as a blade. Meanwhile, Khaled was stuck in Rewind, pushing radio-friendly tracks that felt like they were designed for car stereos and barbershops, but lacked any heart. The contrast was embarrassing. One brutal X post cut deep. Tyler makes art. Kendrick tells stories. Khaled just yells, "We the best," over someone else's beat. That line spread like wildfire, turning into one of the defining memes of Khaled's fall. His brand, once glowing as bright as the diamond-crusted watches he loved to flaunt, was now fading fast against a generation of artists pushing creativity to new levels. It's wild to think about. Once upon a time, Khaled could walk on stage without even touching a mic, and the crowd would erupt the moment he screamed, "We the best." He didn't need to rap or sing. His presence was enough. Album after album, hit after hit, he seemed unstoppable. But here's the problem with formulas. Once people see the trick, the magic is gone. Those hits that once lit up the summer now felt disposable, catchy for a few weeks, then forgotten forever. The music was like an endless buffet that looked rich and exciting, but left no flavor once you walked away. Fans started to realize that beyond the big features, there wasn't much substance tying it all together. Meanwhile, the new wave of artists were connecting on a deeper level. Tyler was openly sharing his personal struggles, Kendrick was turning verses into social commentary, and Travis was building otherworldly vibes that fans could live inside. They were daring, risky, and authentic. Khaled? He was still stacking stars like building blocks, shouting his slogans, and calling it greatness. And that's where the lesson hit hardest. Glamour can't replace soul. You can flash a diamond watch, cruise in luxury cars, and scream, "Another one all you want." But when the lights go dark, people only remember the songs that made them feel something. Khaled thought his audience needed his rallying cry, but they wanted real music. When they realized they weren't getting it from him anymore, they walked away. Not with noise or drama, but with silence. And silence is the loudest rejection of all. The creative world doesn't forgive stagnation. You can coast on past glory for a while, maybe a year, maybe even a decade. But eventually the repetition exposes the emptiness behind the curtain. And for Khaled, that moment had finally arrived. And when the crowd sees that emptiness, they don't forgive, they walk away. That's exactly what happened to DJ Khaled, once crowned the king of radio hits, now left looking like a flashy hype man stuck in yesterday's era. His fall is more than gossip. It's a lesson carved in bold letters for anyone chasing success. The message is clear: don't sleep on past victories. That same formula that builds your empire today could be the very trap that destroys you tomorrow. Tyler, Kendrick, and Travis proved it. What makes them legends isn't just the music, it's the humanity in every track. Listeners hear the scars, the stories, the risks they take. Khaled, on the other hand, lost that spark. He stopped being a storyteller and turned into a host at his own party, yelling slogans while others did the heavy lifting. And when the lights go dark, people don't remember the loudest voice. They remember the truest one. Success doesn't come from screaming "We the best" at the top of your lungs. It comes from proving it through real stories, raw emotion, and daring creativity. That's the difference between being remembered as an artist or being forgotten as a gimmick. This isn't just a rap lesson, it's life advice. Success is not a permanent badge you can flash forever. It's a one-way ticket, and if you don't keep writing the next chapter, the train moves on without you. Khaled thought he could coast, but the audience simply walked into another carriage where Tyler, Kendrick, and Travis were still feeding them new worlds, new emotions, and new anthems. Those chants of "We the best" that once shook arenas. Now they echo as a haunting reminder, drowned out by memes that label him "We Number 2." The 2019 Billboard collapse, the silence during global crises, the exaggerated self-praise on social media, it all stacked up into a perfect storm that brought down Khaled's carefully polished image. Sure, he's still rich, still flaunting fleets of supercars, sparkling mansions, and diamond watches on Instagram. But that glamour is just a mask now. The public sees through it, and what they see is brutal. DJ Khaled is no longer respected as a producer. He's mocked as a cartoon of his former self. The very bravado that once made him magnetic is now the punchline of endless jokes across X and Reddit. One scathing viral comment said it best: "Khaled's got the money, got the fame, but no one calls him a legend anymore." That line cut deeper than any chart loss, because respect is the one thing money can't buy back. So the question looms heavy over his legacy. Will DJ Khaled reinvent himself, strip away the fake shine, and win back hearts with something real? Or will he accept life as a controversial relic, forever trapped in the memes and mockery of social media? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.